Well, good afternoon to everyone watching around the world. We appreciate you tuning in to this 2023 USA Cricket Women's Nationals being held here at Musa Cricket Stadium in Pearland, Texas. We saw the first match today where the West, they beat the East chasing down 85 runs with an over to spare. And now the East, they'll be back. Their third match here at Musa Stadium. They'll be taking on the Southwest. Again, the East will be looking for their very first win in the tournament. Plenty of good players on this team. A lot of international experience and experience across USA, as well as some really exceptional young talent that we'll get to see once again. A quick turnaround. Last match ended just an hour ago for both these sides. Southwest, well, they're also 0-2 after losing to the Southeast Central earlier today. Again, they have some really good international experience, and people have played all over the country, and we'll get to see both these teams in full action in just a little bit. We talked about impressive youngsters, and it looks like another impressive youngster is going to be opening the bowling for the East. If you followed along the Nationals so far, you know someone who's made an impression is Izzy Slade-Jones. Who's been truly terrific. And then for the Southwest, opening the batting, that's Buja Shah you see on your screen, the vice captain, just 17 years of age, born in Lowell, Massachusetts. Didn't start playing cricket until 2020, so her ascension has been truly terrific, and not just a one-sport athlete. Not only does she play cricket and has been a part of the USA Women's Under-19 setup, she also plays basketball at Dulles High School in Sugar Land, Texas, and they're very proud of their very own Buja Shah. Read a great newspaper article, a blog article hosted by Dulles High School. And so we'll get to see just how good she's able to be. Again, they're going to rely on her to have a big innings today, and just getting some scoring situated here. Just trying to make things smooth and all right here with both the book and the app. You look at the weather bug in the bottom left, and 99 degrees Fahrenheit, and it feels much higher than that due to the humidity, well above 90%. Wind currently sitting at just under 6 miles an hour, but we've seen it pick up very quickly here at Pearland, Texas, and just waiting to get things underway here are both these sides. They've each played a game, and there'll be another game played at Balkey's Field as well. That'll be behind where the wicketkeeper and Buja Shah are standing at the moment. You see everyone stretching out after that first game. And alongside Buja Shah opening the batting, it's Chinmayeru Arvu Selvin. Right-hand bat. She plays her cricket in the Dallas area, and a lot of the Southwest team plays in Texas, and maybe a little bit of an advantage when you talk about the heat and being able to adjust, but Dallas is such a big state, depending on where you are. The heat just feels very, very different. I was in Dallas just a couple of weeks ago, and You know, you think this here in Pearland, Texas is bad, but when you have a excessive heat warning every single day in Dallas, consistently well above 105, and it's just dry heat there. The humidity here makes it feel hotter than it is. If you're out and moving, you're going to sweat. There's no way around it. So these players have definitely gotten the waters, the Gatorades to replenish and rehydrate headed into today's match. Again, just waiting to sort some things out here when we talk about the 11 for the Southwest. It'll feature, of course, Snigdha Paul, who's captaining the side today. Chinmay Arivu Selvin, of course, at the non-strikers end, will be opening the batting. We see Shreya Arora, Karthiki Tia Banja Chowdhury will be in there as well. Anuksha Bilalunka, Nitya Jalumuri, Pooja Shah, who we see opening the batting, Parita Singh, Meha Sivakumar, Yashaditi Teki, and Usma Iftihar. So plenty of individuals who have played through different stages of USA cricket. And so when we now look at the East 11, which features, again, pretty similar setup here. Melanie Henry, of course, captaining. Shushri Amula, Aditi Chudasama, Disha Dhingra, Arna Gamgul, Aparna Guramurthy, Adya Rawat, Brooke Shears, Lekha Shetty, Isabel Slade-Jones, who will open the bowling, and Onika Wallerson. So again, just making sure everything's in order here for this second match here at Musa Stadium in today's match, and something to watch for as we get through this first innings and as well as the second innings is just watch the wicket. We've seen, as we see with this wicket, we saw it earlier, and it's definitely become more prevalent as we've gone through each game. The ball just staying consistently low, harder to play those cross-bat shots, and bowlers who have been on stumps have been very, very successful, one of those being Isabel Slade-Jones, who's just 13 years old, and he is working on variations at 13. Most times at 13, you're seeing people develop a stock ball. Well, she's got the stock ball in spades. She has the ability to move it away, move it back in, bowl at different lengths consistently. She's a promising young prospect. It's one USA Cricket is going to value and favor. And just an issue here with some app scoring. Again, the Southwest are batting, not the East. So just something we're trying to adjust here, but we should get things going relatively soon. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to this 2023 USA Cricket Women's Nationals. And great to see the expansion from 2 teams to 4 teams. Being here last year for the Nationals, having 2 teams was great. But with 4 teams, you're getting to see more and more youngsters, more and more new faces make an impact and getting opportunities out there. Again, so for those of you who don't see the score bar or just won't see it adjust, there's a little bit of a glitch in the system. So we're just getting the book scoring ready, and again, we'll update you on the score in regular intervals. to make sure you guys have all the accurate information. You see me in the bottom left there. And again, the amazing pictures you're seeing right now, all presented by our broadcast partner, Smart Choice. Again, they've done a terrific job, and we should be getting underway here soon. You can see in this box, it's nice. It's nice in here versus where it is outside. Sindhusri Harsha joined me for a little bit and said it's much cooler in here than it is out there, and said I'm very lucky. And I said, yeah, I know. Very lucky to be inside this box. It looks like we're getting ready to get things going here. Isabel Slade-Jones will kick things off. I'm Owen Patel here at Musa Stadium in Pearland, Texas. Again, ready to see what action has in place for two teams looking for their first win. Have to imagine these two might see each other for the third place matchup tomorrow. So good opportunity to put some pressure on the other side straight away. Here we go. Isabel Slade-Jones into Pooja Shah. And starts how she's been starting, on a length. Outside the off stump, letting the ball seam away. Again, I'm interested to see the fatigue factor on these players. Isabel Slade-Jones bowled 4 overs in the match just an hour ago. Played a match yesterday. We'll play one tomorrow. You see another delivery that just hanging inside that wide line, and you see it just stayed a touch low for the keeper, Aparna Gurumurthy. This one was at a wide. It is going to be called one. A little bit of extra swing there for for Isabel Slade-Jones. That time back. And again, it's just the consistency that's been really impressive to watch with Isabel Slade-Jones. She's been able to operate in a similar area with the same line, the same length. Hard to put away. Bowled a maiden in her first over. This one off of the legs of Pooja Shah. They'll get the first runs. So one on the board now for the Southwest. And again, looking at what the Southwest could do, able to score 110 in the first innings at Balkey's Field just an hour ago, and they would have felt very confident about that. But the Southeast Central making quick work of that just in 18 overs. These, however, haven't shown a real ability with the bat. A good over this from Izzy Slade-Jones. Very economical and not giving up many runs. At the end of one, it's 2 without loss. Well, it's the same start here for the East. With the ball in hand, they've gone Isabel Slade-Jones from the pavilion and Captain Melanie Henry from the Balkys Field end of the ground. Talked about it just a little bit ago, how the Southwest scored 110 in the first innings just an hour ago. Well, the East, they haven't been able to score very many runs and just struggling to put together a big total, or even when chasing, struggle to put together an innings, and that's going to be something to watch for as Henry starts. And look how low that one's kept. You can see Pooja Shah on the back foot now taking a look around, saying, "What do you want? What do you want me to do with that?" And again, this is the adjustment period here for Pooja Shah. She hasn't moved from that position. Again, these batters are going to have to understand you got to stay on the front foot. If the ball jumps on you, it's a welcome thing, but there you go. You see, drives it that time off the front foot. That's going to be the key now for these two bats, is understanding that there isn't going to be any hanging on the back foot. Ball's not going to sit up. It's just going to come on and stay lower. So you would rather be too far forward than too far back. You want to stay low. A straight bat's going to be critical. Again, a ball like that, we've seen a couple be really sweepable or sloggable, and they just stay up low and go under the bat completely. And there you go. See, just a touch of bounce that time. And for Chinmay, who's played most of her cricket in the Dallas area. Batting alongside Pooja Shah. This one's just flicked into the leg side. Melanie Henry has been very good. Has understood the wicket from the early periods. Has kept everything angling into stumps. And if you do elect to sweep, you find yourself in trouble. That time short, and that one's cut through the offside. They go ahead and take that single. Pooja Shah gets home. Again, just working to resolve some of the issues with the scoreboard. We'll make sure to continue to update you. Currently, it's 4 without loss here in the second over. Pooja Shah on your screen. Melanie Henry with a ball in hand. Again, driven through the offside, just to mid-off. And that'll do it for the second over. And at the end of 2, it's 4 without loss. So there we go. We can see the score starting to come back on here in the third over. 4 runs currently on the board for Southwest. As we see Isabel Slade Jones continuing with ball in hand. You see this swinging onto the legs. They'll get one. Well, Chinmay, and I'll enjoy getting an off strike that. Again, an interesting question will be just the fatigue factor of all these players having just played. This one well driven through the offside. Brilliant there from Pooja Shah. She'll pick up 4 runs. Just stayed low on it. Again, the key, stayed low, rid the bounce. Just frees her arms up through the offside. We'll pick up 4. It's 33 not out. In the match that took place at Balkys Field. So just continuing that rhythm over into the match right now. And a new opening pair for the Southwest. These two did not open the batting. Again, well driven through the covers, but straight to Melanie Henry, but you can see Pooja Shah already making an impact with the bat in hand. 9 runs on the board for the Southwest, and you see the score updated. Looking to drive again, but this is where Isabel Slade-Jones has been really impressive. Probably just a touch too full on that 4. Pulls the length back. Causes a dot ball again, forcing Pooja Shah to drive on the up. Going for the big drive, unable to get it on that occasion. Isabel Slade-Jones been hard to put away, but we mentioned a new opening pair for the Southwest. Started with Yashaditi Teki and Shreya Arora in their match earlier today. Instead, now going with Pooja Shah and Chinmay Arivusalan. This one hits straight back, and it gets through. Izzy Slade-Jones will be 1, and Pooja Shah will maintain strike. 3 overs gone. It's 10 without loss. Melanie Henry will continue here for the East. Again, has been very good. Had a good all-around performance. Had a good all-around performance in the earlier match. Scored 20-odd runs and then took some wickets and was really economical. And so deliveries just like that. And deliveries like that have found the stumps again. You can see the intent from Pooja Shah. It's not a bad idea. With no deep mid-wicket, go take advantage of that shot. But because of how low the ball is staying, hard to play. This time look to play straight and again finds himself under the bat. It's going to be the big thing here for Pooja Shah. She's an explosive player. Just to make sure she doesn't hit herself out or swing herself out, rather, with the way the ball is playing. This one down the leg side, unable to be kept. So be a couple of runs through buys and wides. Late call for 2, but sent back. Probably should have been 2 off of that. But they'll go ahead and take the 1 to bring Chinmay on to strike. And again, Chinmay playing cricket in the Dallas area. Unable to get going in the first match today, so he's going to want to make an impact here. Another one of this crop of young cricketers who've just come through the ranks. This one a full toss. It's going to be a no ball, and how well has that been struck? It's going to be, I think, all the way over the rope for 4. But, oh no, never mind. Make it 6. It bounced right after the rope. So showing off the power there from Chinmay. The youngster getting one on the full, and those sometimes can be the hardest ones to put. But how about this? Take a look at this. Just kind of came out of nowhere. This replay from, a 6 we saw earlier today from Giovanna Arras, and drawing similarities to this 6 that we saw from Chinmay. Off the free hit, she gets cleaned up, but no worries about that. But you can see exactly what we talk about when we talk about going across the line, how difficult it is when the ball angling in, staying a touch lower. So just not able to do that. This, again, that 6 from Giovanna Arras. Again, we've seen some 6s hit today and been very impressive to see the power. This one just staying low on Chinmay. That takes a welcome sign here in the power play. Haven't seen a lot of players take advantage of just the two fielders. This one going to be deemed wide there, trying to keep it out of the arc. Was Melanie Henry, seeing that Jinmei has a liking to take things into the leg side. But I don't think she should go too far away from her plans of just being on the stumps. Goes back to it, just a touch too full there. If you pull that length back, I think you can induce the false shot. Sometimes those shots, you're not just really thinking about it. It's just a natural shot that comes off. So when you play those slog sweeps often and you see one in that area, you're going to go for it. That one, though, just defended and pushed away. So that'll bring up the end of the fourth over. It's a good over for the Southwest. That's 6 off the no ball. Going to be the biggest thing. 4 overs gone. It's 20 without loss. And again, something we saw in the earlier game from the East was once Isabel Slade-Jones was done with the ball, they go to spin in the form of Aditi Chudasama from the pavilion end. And we'll be bowling into Pooja Shah, and these two would know quite a bit about each other. Both of whom part of that women's under-19 team that went to the inaugural T20 World Cup. And so these two would know what each other like to do. And so it would be an interesting matchup between two fiery young talents. Worked into the leg side. Let's find one. Again, we've talked about the way Aditi Chudasama likes to get through her overs quick. Doesn't really change things until the batter shows some conviction. This one just pushed into the offside, and a little bit of some flavor of off spin from Melanie Henry, who's much quicker through the air, much flatter on most occasions, and gives you a variation of being flighted. Aditi Chudasama gives plenty of flight onto the ball. And then that one, the variation, will just come on a little bit quicker. Tries to bowl one in the other direction. But a good start here in the power play. One of the more explosive power plays we've seen so far here in this Women's Championship here. And Musa, as this one's tucked into the leg side, will be one. They thought about a second, but none to beat. We'll bring back Pooja Shah. And we heard earlier from Sindhu Sriharsha and a couple of the coaches about the wicket and how it's not an easy wicket to get going. You got to take some time. You got to put in some work on this wicket, and it feels like you want that one batter to play a good chunk of the innings. Think about the last match, Gargi Bogle doing that. Think about the match yesterday, Jessica Willantagamiwa doing just that as well for the Southeast Central, just batting a good chunk of the innings. As this one's hit into the air, fielder underneath it, and takes the catch. That's Brooke Shears sitting there in mid-on, just backpedaling a couple steps and takes a good sharp catch as it was high into the air. Pooja Shah just looking to take it over the top of that fielder. Trying to take advantage of the power play, but wasn't meant to be. Take a look at this. Just didn't get the connection she was quite looking for, and as she was pedaling back, Brooke Shears takes the catch, much to the delight of Aditi Chudasama, who struck again with the ball. Not the best tournament with the bat for her, but she's shown how she can be very valuable on the other side of the game with ball in hand. First wicket falls for the Southwest. We were just talking about how they got off to a good start, but the East reining things back as they always seem to do. And we'll bring out Shreya Arora to come into bat. Opened in the match earlier today. Went without scoring, though. Was done for a golden duck, so was going to want to rebound and find herself amongst the scores here. Again, we mentioned how this Southwest team is predominantly Texas team. And Aurora fits that bill. Aditi Chudasama, though, a girl from New Jersey, making that first strike. Thanks to a catch of Brooke Shears, who, again, we might get to see with the ball as well, the other off spinner. So 1 ball left here in this 5th over. And Aditi Chudasama has done exactly what our captain would have wanted. Just 2 runs so far, taking a wicket. Getting rid of one of the openers. And you keep wickets falling from one end, it's just hard to build a partnership. This one just getting through Shreya Aurora. It's a good over from Chudasama. 5 overs gone, 22 for 1. Well, we mentioned just a little bit ago, we might get to see Brooke Shears with the ball in hand. Well, that catch seems to have earned her the next over. She'll bowl this final over of the power play, and it's going to want to have a short memory. Her last over in that last match wouldn't have gone the way she would have wanted. With Giovanna Arras just taking her for a couple of runs, but she's shown ability. And Melanie Henry rewarding her ability. Brooke Shears, her first nationals, and again, hasn't looked out of place. And that's the really impressive thing about a lot of these cricketers here, is that even with amongst all the experience and all the depth that we've seen, the new cricketers haven't looked out of place, but she'll start off with a full toss. That'll be helped along to the boundary. His easy pickings there for Chinmay. Was never going to miss out on that one. When you don't have to worry about the wicket, the cross-bat shot comes into play. You can see didn't try to overhit it, just placed it away from square leg. Now puts the pressure straight back on Brooke Shears. He's going to want to find her length. It's a better ball, this. Again, you can see Chinmay just hanging back, looking to play it late. But there you go. Find the length. It's off the length when you have a surface like this that just carries some inconsistency, carries something in it for the bowlers. You want to take advantage of it. And just like that, the one previous probably was a little bit shorter, but it sat up and was guided down. This time, getting through a little bit quicker, staying lower. And now if you're Brooke Shears, it's about getting it closer to that off stump. Bring it closer. Stays out wide. That one's going to be too wide. Going to be an extra. And for Brooke Shears, going to want to be much straighter. The late dab just gets to backwards point. A misfield is going to allow for one. Not going to want to see that if you're the East. Especially after giving up that boundary early. Some confidence, you know, if you were to bowl 3 consecutive dot balls and keep Chinmay on strike and maybe just try to frustrate. But those singles ease a lot of that pressure, a lot of that tension. We're going to see Shreya Aurora just fends away Brooke Shears. And that's a good ball that from there you're still attacking the stumps. So using the wicket. There you go. Again, when you use the wicket, you get a little bit of variable bounce. You keep everything in contention. And a good end to that over for Brooke Shears. The power play goes. It's 28 for 1. Back here at Musa Stadium, Aditi Chirasama to continue. Why not? Got a wicket. Only gave up 2 runs and I was really impressed with the ball. Again, last year was the best batter in the national championships. Hasn't had that type of innings yet. Never know what today could bring, but with the ball, she's shown her value. Can just trying to dab it down to Shinmei and a little bit of extra bounce that time. Again, when you're using the wicket here with the flight that we see from Aditi Chudasma and the revs that we're seeing that she's putting on the ball, can create some overspin as this one's hit back and no run on offer. You talk about international size. When you can just throw it over to one of your batters, it's so invaluable. And to have someone like Aditi Chudasma who you're not probably going to consider an all-rounder. You could the way she's bowling right now, but the fact that you can just throw her a couple of overs whenever you like, and it gives you another spin option as well. It's really exciting, and keeping Chinmay at bay at the moment. It's going to be another quiet over. 1 ball to go. No runs being scored. Again, we talk about how quickly we get through Aditi Chudasma's overs. She just likes to get through it. Hasn't changed the length or the line, really, until the batters do something different. This one a little bit quicker, straying down the leg side, will result in a run. So 1 run over. And a good one for the East. 7 overs gone. It's 29 for 1. So now with ball in hand, it's going to be a new bowler, Arna Gamgul, hailing from Washington, D.C., a leggy. So get to see what she can bring. And for the leggy, you see that short third in place. She'll be bowling into Shreya Mool, who has only seen a couple deliveries. See me, Shreya Aurora. Flied it all the way up, down the leg side. As Chinmay's on strike now. Shreya Aurora just waiting at the other end. He's only played 3 deliveries so far. A lot of flight offered from Arna there. And good to see some flight, but is going to want to find the wicket again. As a leggy, someone who gets some revs. You can find your length, it can be difficult to play. Look at that, chasing after that one was Chinmay. Could have easily left it for a wide, and you can see Shreya Arora having that exact conversation. So gets away with one there, does Arna Kumgul. This time sits back in the air. Going to be over the top of the infield. They'll find one and bring Shreya Arora. 2 strike, and again, only played 3 deliveries has Shreya. So let's see how she can get herself going here in this 8th over. You can see Arna calling for long off to come inside, but decides against it. Flight it up. It's hit up into the air, into the leg side, and gonna just be one. Again, with that flight, it's always good to see leggies put some flight on it, and the different types of leg spinners there are in the world. Some a lot quicker through the air, some flight it up. Just going to want to find her length here. It's a good delivery, that is. It's in the air for a moment. Or just be kept to 1. That's a better ball. I think that's kind of where you're going to want to operate if you're Arna. And there you go, a direct hit there, and I think they might go further on and decides against it. You know, that is an interesting conversation I've had with Brian Walters, who will join me on Friday, about those direct hits onto the stumps. He believes that you shouldn't get the opportunity to run off a direct hit because you're punishing the fielding side for doing something right. Shreya Arora goes back and cuts it late. Melanie Henry gets that throw in and back up in place just to keep it to 1. So again, another very hot day here in Pearland, Texas. The wind starting to pick up, and a lot of young talent on display like Arna Gumgul. This one sits up, asked to be hit, fielder in place, but not an opportunity to get it. We'll wait for the umpire's call here. It's been given 6 in the second one for Chinmay. Again, it just asked to be hit. That one sat up. It was on middle and leg. And we've already seen the power off the bat of Chinmay Arivuselvan. You can take another look. It's flighted up. It's down the leg side. And with the amount of time she had to get onto the back foot, that was always going to clear the fence for 6. And it ends the 8th over, 40 for 1. The third over is going to start with Aditi Chudasmas called for a wide to start things off. Should be bowling into Shreya Arora. It's been a good first 8 overs here for Southwest as they get another single. Easily the most explosive and haven't lost wickets. So I like the start they've gotten off to, and they can put 100-plus runs on the board. I feel they can get the East under pressure, especially on a wicket that we'll see its 6th inning on it by the time the East gets out of bat. This one jarring back in and just finding the fielder inside the ring. Chinmay Arivuselvan has really found her rhythm thanks to a couple of loose deliveries. She's 23 from 30. couple of sixes to her name. This one, we'll see if it's given runs or byes here from the umpire. No, it's been given as runs. So there might have been a little bit of bat on that there, and a possible opportunity to dismiss Jinmei. So how costly will that be on 23? Kind of good turn that from Aditi. Haven't seen a lot of huge turn, but again, that one coming back quite a bit. And the Southwest gotten off to this good of a start. The East is going to have to employ themselves to get back in to this match and start to take some wickets. We'll see who they turn to post this Aditi Chudasama third over. This one's staying a touch low, deemed a wide by the umpire, and this is not what the East would have wanted. Would have looked for another tight over to maybe build some pressure, but haven't found that. So 4 runs coming from that over. It's not a bad one there for the East. But the Southwest clearly ahead of the match at the moment. 9 overs gone. It's 44 for 1. So for the East, they're going to be looking for wickets and turning to some experience to go and get those wickets. They'll turn to Anika Wallerson, it looks. Now, of course, we've talked about Anika extensively with her exploits with the bat. Originally from Guyana and has been in the USA for quite some time now. 38 years of age, but has still shown an ability to get out there with the youngsters and make a big impact, and we'll get to see her with the ball. This one on a good length. It's worked into the leg side, and they'll go ahead and get one. Something that I've really been impressed with by the Southwest is their ability to get singles. Again, yes, those boundaries have come. Jinmei has gotten the 6s, and we've seen a couple of 4s, but the biggest thing for me is that they haven't eaten too many dot balls. Yes, they've gone through some of the Aditi Chudasama overs with them, but it's mostly been singles, at least 4 and over. This one's pushed, and again, just like that, it's a good delivery. Not much wrong with it, but just found it into the gap. Didn't try to overhit it, and that's going to be the key on Musa Stadium for whoever wants to claim the championship trophy. It's whoever can get those singles and not eat up those dot balls. The boundaries, they come sporadically. But if you make sure the dot balls stay away and take singles like this, you're going to be well in front of the game. And these aren't bad deliveries from Anika Wallerson, and most of the matches we've seen here, those deliveries have just been played away for dots. But these two have showed an intent, and maybe having seen a couple of games on the wicket, and just having those clear plans, have adjusted full and straight, and again, found the gap. That cover fielder in the deep, and just found that fielder on the deep, getting one. Again, those 4, 5, 6 run overs are huge in terms of setting up the game. When we talk about a score of 100 plus being a difficult one to chase down. Yes, the Southwest had it chased, but 100 plus just puts that pressure. That one just staying away from Chinmay. Didn't really use her feet, just try to throw her hands at it. Again, from the perspective of Nico Wallerson, it hasn't been a bad over. She's bowled admirably well. This one a full toss, hit straight back down the ground. It just clears. Melanie Henry at short cover, didn't get a piece on it. It was just sliced that from Chinmay. But just evades Melanie Henry, who's been so good in that region. Anything that's been there typically has been caught. But that'll close out the 10th over. It's a good over this for the Southwest. 5 runs coming from it. 10 overs gone. It's 49 for 1. And we'll have a quick little drinks break. We welcome you back here to Moosta Stadium, the wonderful pictures you've seen presented by our broadcast partner, Smart Choice. 10 overs gone, 49 runs on the board, just 1 wicket down. And it's been a real shining start for Southwest. For Chinmay Arivuselvan, who's 27 from 35, and Shreya Arora, 5 off 11, both of whom are finding gaps with regular ease now. So the East are going to have to do something to close things down, as Adya Rawat will come into bowl, and Rawat looked good in that first match. Struggled with the left-hander, just with the width I thought she was offering Gargi Bogle. And so that's why she looked a little bit more expensive than I think she deserved to be in terms of the quality of bowler that she is. But she'll be into the 2 right-handers now. Again, we'll need to look to operate around a good length on the stumps. What Izzy Slade-Jones was doing. Just around there. You're going to be down the leg side, however. You can see the idea, though. She's trying to be straight. Just touched too straight. A good throw coming in. As well, hitting the base of the stumps. So we've seen, again, a lot of really good cricket over these past 2 days. And again, we'll get one more day tomorrow. We'll have 2 games. The final that will be brought to you right here at Musa Stadium. So this one's fended away for a quick single. And we'll have the 3rd place matchup at Balkes Field. Just to the back of the wicketkeeper is where Balkes is located. So be 2 interesting matchups. Again, another chance for these players to put their talents on display. So this one just gets away from the edge of Jinmei. And in the East, they're going to want to buy some quiet overs now. They're going to need a wicket here. The wicket of Jinmei would be a huge boost to this eastern side. You're just going to take a couple of dot balls. You're not just going to go from scoring runs to getting wickets. A lot of times you're going to have to find an in-between level. And I'm curious for the Southwest, because when they get into the field, the team would have been out for quite a bit. As this one is just pushed and found the inside edge. They'll find one off it. So again, for the East, going to just want to find a way to close things down, and a wicket would be the prize here. As we see Shreya Arora come to strike. The Arora has started well. Again, also something to watch for when the East go out to bat is going to be that bounce. I've already seen it a couple of times in this first innings. Is the ball just staying a touch low. So when they come out to bat, it's going to have to be extra watchful of that. Be the 6th consecutive inning played on this wicket. And a good ball to end it there for Adiarawat. The first over just goes for 4. It's 53 for 1. Continuing from the Balkes field into the ground would be Onika Wallerson. First over just went for 5. The 2 in the middle just found an ability to get these singles. And again, it's something that's missing for most of the innings we've seen at Musa Stadium. It's just the singles in between the boundaries. Yes, Jinmei has found a couple of 6s, a boundary, but it's been about her and Shreya finding the ones and rather than the dots. And we've seen a real struggle for that here on this wicket and in this field. As this one's chipped up into the air. Fielder coming around and makes a catch. Onika Wallerson uses all of her experience. Take her first wicket. And the East, they'll take a breath after that. To get the dismissal of Shreya Arora is a big one. We talked about how they would need a wicket to feel that they can get back into the match, especially after the two in the middle had found some rhythm. Getting this one from Shreya Arora. Just looking to just push it down the ground. It fell, but got under it, sliced it straight up into the air, and good reaction from long off to keep it from getting past her. And again, a big break for the East. Southwest would feel like they've missed out on a vital partnership that had just started to get going. You can see the disappointment from Shreya Arora as well, but for the Southwest, you still have Jinmei out in the middle. Was found rhythm and has been scoring at a good rate. But now for the East, it's time to capitalize. Again, you got that wicket. It's now time to really take another. We hear the saying in cricket all the time, one wicket brings two. And that wicket has brought out Meha Sivakumar into the middle for the Southwest. And Meha will be keeping wicket today, and so we'll see her behind the stumps, but right now she'll be in front of them, protecting them. Again, is going to want to find ways to at least rotate quickly. Not let any of this momentum slip away from the Southwest. If the East now can create some dot balls and some dot ball pressure, that's when you say the tides have turned. But until that moment, the Southwest are still in front. So if you're Meha Sivakumar, you just want to make sure you can facilitate strike as much as you can as you see yourself in. But if you're Anika Wallerson, going to use all that experience to gain a second wicket. We'll see what Meha Sivakumar has to offer here for the Southwest. You can see that from Anika Wallerson. Really smart coming back from her first over. We saw her give a little bit more width when she was on a length in that first over. Now angling everything into stumps and keeping it much closer to off stump where it's harder to score. We saw a lot of nudges through backward point or third man, or just able to free the arms through the offside to pick up one. Here again, angling in, and there's really nowhere to go from that line, from that length, but to just fend it away from the stumps. Again, that's just something that comes with experience. Someone who's played a lot of cricket, seen a lot of cricket, been around a couple different countries and seen how the game is played at a high level. Looking to take it big into the leg side. Given not out there. I wonder what the reason was. It's a big shot. You can see Onika still asking the question. Saying the impact was just maybe outside the line. And maybe there was some bat involved as well. May have finished not out in that first match today, so would like to just gain some of that momentum. But it's a good over this from Onika. Gets that wicket, just gave up 2 runs in it. 12 overs go. It's 55 for 2. Well, after that brilliant over from Anika Wallerson, where she picked up a wicket and just gave up 2 runs, put a halt on the Southwest innings. Adya Rawat, who only gave up 4 in her first. Now bowling to Meha Sivakumar, will have an opportunity to put another halt, and they go for this quick single, and they get it in the end. You can see a little bit of a bump as they're running through, but both batters make it home. And it's a good smart single there. It's a clear initial call, and I think that's the key to that. Again, if you see it, it was just a little dab into the leg side, and could have easily been called no, but both were very responsive to the call and took off in a hurry. Again, tucked into the leg side. Again, off quickly. Fielder there in place, though. Direct hit could have been close. I reckon would have been the end. Overthrows won't lead to any extra runs. But I reckon had that been a direct hit, it would have been awfully close and would have put the umpire in a real bind. Again, this is what I think dot balls do. It adds that pressure, feeling you have to run on maybe deliveries you wouldn't have earlier. That wide, they'll release some of that. This one, though, wide on the offside now. Overcorrection there from Adiarab was not what the East would have wanted. Would have had an opportunity to really put some pressure with those runs being potential runouts. Maybe a second guessing by the Southwest, but those two wides are going to free things up. This one closer, pulled into the leg side. Will be an easy single that time. I thought about a second, but none really to be had. And already 60 runs on the board. We've talked about 100 being a good place to be. You can get into the 90s. You'd also feel good about your opportunity to defend. This one staying low, but just helped into the leg side. Again, well watched. And I think the key on this wicket is also staying low. We've talked about it a couple of times now. It's easier to get up rather than it is to get down. So I see a lot of cricketers start lower, whether you're standing in slips. You see, again, slip fielders' hands to the ground to start. Keepers' hands to the ground. Or whether it's batters usually staying in a pretty low position or at least getting to a low position by the time the bowler's ready to bowl. If you want to talk about batters who stand up straight through the run-up, go back to the Ashes example. Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow standing very straight through the run-up, and then you see them trigger through. They get very, very low. And it's just because it's easier to rise than it is to drop. You do that much quicker. This one is just fended away to close out the 13th over. The end of 13, it's 61 for 2. So after taking a wicket, Onika Wallerson should get rewarded with another over. First over went for 5, second just went for 2, and that wicket. So she adjusted well. Expect to see balls like this angling into stumps, but this is really well worked. Probably just a touch too full there from Wallerson. I think she had the most success on a length angling in. Deliveries like that. A little walk. It gets through Melanie Henry. So take that single there. And again, this is a good comeback here from Meha Sivakumar. Finding those runs, finding those singles alongside Chinmay, who's into the 30s now. Who just flicked this one through mid-wicket. Good reaction there mid-wicket to just keep it to 1. Didn't let it get into the outfield. Field is spread out with a deep mid-wicket. A long on, a long off, and a deep cover. So plenty of gaps to be found. The Southwest has done a really good job of finding those gaps, finding those singles. And this is something the East is going to want to look for with their opening partnership today. This one just defended, and Kumar wants the run. And it's because, again, it's a long on-fielder, not a mid-on-fielder. Once it got past Anika Wallerson, there was a run all the way. Again, very, very watchful, very, very smart. And again, the Southwest are eyeing a big total here. Looking to get a win for tomorrow. That one a wide. This one finds the bottom edge, unable to get it away. Good reaction by Aparna Gurumurthy. Just keeping wicket today and keeps that from being, and he runs behind the wicket keeper. One delivery left. This 14th over. This one gets through everything. We just talked about runs behind the keeper. A little bit of a commentator's curse there for Aparna. Results in a bye. Southwest will take that to end the over. Chinmay will retain strike. It's 67 for 2. We're going to see Isabel Slade-Jones be brought back earlier than we've seen in previous matches. Again, a really impressive youngster, someone to keep your eye on. Just 13 years of age. It's impressive because she's this polished at 13 with plenty of room to grow. We get a top ball to start things off here for Southwest, and the Southwest would have liked what they've seen from themselves so far, and Isabel Slade-Jones is here just to kind of slow the rhythm down, and as we mentioned, liking what the Southwest has done. I'll introduce the Southwest head coach here as we see a single. It's Subhash Chudagudashi coming in with me here in the booth.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
Well, Subhash, your side has come off really well here so far to start things off. You guys scored 110 in the first match at Balkis, and here already have 68 runs on the board. What has really been the message when you guys go out to bat, and what has led to your bigger totals?
So we just talked from the start of the tournament because we have played previously on these pitches. So especially they are too dry of pitch, so the scores, the bounce will be really low. So the target that we gave to the team is to always have 6 runs per over at least minimum. because that gives good pressure even to keep the opponents on track. We could not do that in the first game because girls were still adjusting to the pitch. For the second game, they did well, but things did not go well in the bowling department, I would say. It was the same target that we gave even for the third game, that we still need that 120 mark. So that's the initial goal that we are giving to the girls. So that's the message that we have been sent to the girls.
Yeah, and it seems to have been working. Again, we've seen the sixes being hit the fours, but for me what's been really impressive is the singles in consistent intervals. They are finding the gaps more so than blocking deliveries away. Again, like this quick singles taken, always looking to run and always looking to score. For you have a lot of players who play in the Texas area, who've been around the Texas, so you, as you mentioned, played at the stadium. Do you see that as an advantage for you guys when coming down and playing in this Nationals?
Yeah, so one thing I would say is definitely the weather that they're used to, right? So these girls play day in, day out in these weathers regularly, so they're used to this climate. Okay, but I personally feel they have the girls who are playing for the Nationals for the first time in this tournament, they have that pressure under their belts. That's one thing which I told them to just ease them off a little while. Okay, and then just play the natural game like how they play the regular games. So that's the other message we just gave to the girls.
Yeah, and as we close out the 15th over, 71 for 2. You mentioned there's plenty of individuals playing their first Nationals. Then you have some of the more experienced players, maybe like a Snigdha Paul. What's it like having those veteran influences in meetings and in the locker room to help kind of guide some of those younger players?
Okay, so to be frank, I would say Uzma, Snigdha, Yashaditi, Pooja, they were really helpful to the girls in terms of the inputs they are providing. But for all the younger girls, there is still a lot to learn in every department. This is one good experience for them, what to work on after the tournament. Okay, so I would say they are giving regular inputs. Okay, for the girls, I would say they're really thankful, or I would say blessed to have those people in the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we talk about getting those girls experience, getting these women experience throughout, not just in the Nationals, but local circuit. From having 2 teams last year to having 4 teams this year and seeing just the amount of pockets in the country and the growth of the game, what do you think this means for the future of USA women's cricket?
I would say it's definitely a very good positive sign. It's really growing well, and I would say it's going in the right direction, but I would also expect a lot of such tournaments to happen on a frequent basis. Okay, so that gives more rhythm, more practice for the girls. Otherwise, we organize few tournaments, it doesn't give a right opportunity for every girl who is eligible to play as per the age criteria. So if we can continue that as a systematic process through USA cricket, then that would be really good for cricket. And they're going to really accelerate in terms of their game, the maturity of the game, and the game sense, everything.
Yeah, and we see Lekha Shetty coming on to bowl her first over. 15 overs gone, 71 runs on the board. How would you say this innings have gone according to what you have kind of set out for them?
Okay, I would still say it's still slow for me. Why? Because there were a couple of runs that they did not go for second. Okay, so they say, like in this case, Meha's looking at the ball. So I would say you need to first run the fast. Like they need to take the first run fast. Then they need to look at the ball or hear from the non-striker what is the call about. These are all small things. So which we were discussing in the dugout, so that you always anticipate for a second run. And if you see the fielding was not right to the keeper, the throws were everywhere. So we would have capitalized those runs. Every run matters on these slow pitches because that adds pressure to the opponents. Yeah. So
well, it seems like they heard you. They take 2 there, looking to turn it back. So they might have a little piece in their helmets right now listening to what you're saying. But with 73 runs on the board, where would you like to see your team now with these last 5 overs? Where do you think you guys can accelerate to?
So I would say anything between 110 to 120 would be really good score. Okay, so and like as I said, they have a local advantage. They know this pitch well. Okay, so and we have a very good bowling unit. So if everything falls in place, it would be a good game, I would say.
Yeah, and Texas has kind of become a hub for cricket almost. We've seen Major League Cricket obviously starting here, and a lot of those players, domestic players who play in that league, have started to transfer down into the Dallas, the Houston area, and stadiums popping up in Texas. How cool is that for you to see, as someone who coaches around here and gets to coach a lot of players around here, to see a lot of these grounds popping up in the state?
I mean, I would say for all the volunteers and who is bringing up those grounds as a part of this game, who loves these games, it's really motivational for a lot of kids. I've seen, like I come from Austin. I've seen just within last 6 months, at least minimum 20 to 30 parents who enroll their kids for cricket. So, and being a very small place, I can see that impact in a huge way. And cities like Dallas and Houston, they also have a bigger impact. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna keep growing like anything. So we would need a lot of stadiums, I would say, in Texas.
Well, this one's hit into the leg side, and they heard you say that they want to get between 110 and 120. That's another 4. Again, just finding ways to score runs in consistent intervals. And Sivakumar has really come alive now. After playing 15 balls, has started to find gaps and started to find boundaries. And you've worked with these girls for a little bit of time now. You've seen a lot of them in action, and what's it been like seeing their progression every single year and seeing them just kind of develop and grow their games?
I would say they drastically change their games within months. I would say they're putting a lot of effort. They do have their individual coaches who works on them, batting and bowling department. So it's really amazing. So especially like if you take an example of Chinmay, so she practices every day, 7 days a week, okay, with no rest, I would say, right? Meha is similar to that. Okay, she has a very good coach, individual coach, and then she practices hard as well. So, and that is one effort which I have seen from all the girls, not only in Texas, even outside Texas, whom I know. They put in that continuous effort. That's one thing which I'll really like from the players, the passion towards the game. So that keeps motivating them to play, practice more, perform better. So that's what I see it in this tournament. All the girls who put in that effort, they're really able to showcase that during the game when it's really needed.
Well, obviously you guys have 4 overs left with the bat. With the ball, what do you hope for your team to really accomplish when you go out there with the ball in hand?
Okay, so I would primarily focus on the discipline of the balls that they need to bowl in. Okay, so the girls are still new to this format, so they get always confused with righties and lefties. So because they bowl in their regular games more to the righty batters than lefty batters. So when they see a lefty-righty combination or 2 lefties on the strike, they feel that I will not be able to do that well. But what the guidance that we gave and the captain gave is just keep it straight to the stumps. We can set the field according to that, to their batting style. That is one thing which I just want the girls to achieve as a part of these games. And the other thing that I'm expecting from the girls is to control the extras, because in both the games, I would say if we would have controlled those extras, that would have given a very good advantage for us to pull the game back. And that was the message as a part of our today's start of the game in the team meeting. We just conveyed the same thing as well. So, and after this innings, we're going to discuss again in a short brief what are the milestones that they need to target for the game.
Yeah, and you have a team that's predominantly in Texas, and so they would have known each other, but it feels like all the teams, all 4 teams, no matter what region you're in, it feels like a big family this Nationals is. What's that feeling like when you get into the locker room and all these girls are really supporting each other and having that, nurturing impact on each other?
Oh, that's, I would say it's really amazing. Why? Because we do have 2 people from West who are playing, but it really did not make any difference in the dugout, I would say. So they just blended in well. Okay, so they're really giving very good inputs to the girls, and they do play regularly in one of the other tournaments which are recognized by US. So that is one thing which I really love about this tournament, because they already know each other from different formats or different tournaments. So they are able to gel it well, and they were able to perform together, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I felt it as soon as I came here when we were doing the fitness training. Me and you were both recording scores, and you could hear everyone cheering each other on
right,
and
yeah.
things like that. And so that's really exciting to see when you have a group of individuals who are rooting for each other, not just rooting for themselves, especially in a tournament like this, a selection tournament, and every single ball matters, it feels, but everyone's still rooting for each other and still looking to better one another.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of this game, right? So, and they're playing together, they support each other, and after this tournament, whatever tournaments that they play, they don't play by regions. They always mix with the regions and the players. That's another beauty of the game, which I like with the girls especially. So that way they know even the different region team players. And then that's the kind of sportiveness we need to bring it in the game, rather than just about the clubs or the regions, I would say. It's just cricket, okay, and the teams that you need to play with. So have fun, right?
Yeah, it is cricket, and it seems like everyone's having fun out there, especially your team at the moment. They feel in front of the match. Again, you would have liked to see them get to 110, 120, and they're crawling their way up there. 2 balls left in this 17th, 87 runs on the board. Jinmei's been in there from the beginning. I'm sure you've sent out a couple of messages to her with the drinks. What has been kind of the message you've been sending to her throughout her innings?
So I just sent a message to Chinmay that she needs to keep rotating her strike. Okay, not to go for big shots, as she already played 53 balls. Within this hotness, I would say, it's too difficult to accelerate. But Meha will do that acceleration part, and we still have few batters who can accelerate the game. So that's a message that's been passed on to Chinmay, so that she plays and gives the strike to the persons who can accelerate the game.
Yeah, we've seen, when teams win here, you have an innings where someone just kind of holds one side of the wicket down and allows those singles to flow and those partnerships to build.
Yeah, why? Because on a slow, dry pitch like this, that kind of tactic works well. Okay, so you need to have someone who understands the pitch and run the game along with the non-strikers. So that really helps to build a partnership.
Absolutely, and they're building one right now as we come to the close of the 17th over. It's 88 for 2. I'm going to bid you farewell, Subhash. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks so much.
And good luck to your side for the rest of the tournament and today.
Thank you.
So it was great to have Subhash and all the coaches, come in and have a word with us, and great to see the insights that they provide in the game. And again, he's going to be really happy with what his side's been able to produce. He'll be able to go and have a chat with them for the last 3 overs. But an interesting ploy, he said, of Meha Sivakumar maybe being the one to accelerate just because of how hot it is, 99 degrees. And Chinmay has been out there for 17 overs, been out from the very beginning. And again, it's the second match for these girls and these women already today as Lekha Shetty comes in. And Chinmay's moved into the 40s now. She's fresh and close to that milestone. Again, just looking to rotate strike. And we've seen the ability to hit the big shot. And if it's a bad ball, we know she's going to put it away. We've already seen that from her. This one's just tucked into the leg side. Will be a run to bring Meha Sivakumar. And you heard Coach Subhash mention it about this right here, being aware of where the ball is and always looking for that second run. An overthrow leads to an extra run. So just adding to Chinmay and the Southwest total. And again, something that he said he was preaching to his women was to be very present with the ball, understand where it is, where the throw's going, if the throw's in the hands, and to always look to run that second. As this one's pushed back, and a little bit of a misfield there from Lekha, able to get a foot on it to keep it just 1. But already into the 90s of the Southwest, and it's a very good place to be, very important place to be for the Southwest already at this stage of the innings, and a real platform to them to get to 110. Getting plenty of big bats. Think about what's Snigdha Paul and what all these bats can do. No run on offer that time. This one struck firmly into the air. And it's going to be a 6. We talked about it already. Meha Sivakumar, someone who's been given the role to accelerate and find the boundaries. Well, she does so that time, as straight as you like, straight back down the ground. And just take a look at this. Clears out the front foot. We've talked about how hard it is to go cross bat. Well, she does it. It's the width that's on offer that allows her to free her arms. And a brilliant shot to move her into the 20s. Tries it again. It's going to be deemed a wide, moving away. Southwest, if they could get to 100 in this 18th over, and just have 2 overs to really leapfrog and catapult their innings. But the way Meha Sivakumar has struck the ball and the way we've seen Chinmay able to rotate as this one's hit into the leg side. Fielders coming around. We'll just keep it to 1 on the overthrow. They won't take another. So moving to 99 of the Southwest is Chinmay Arivuselvan. We'll get on to strike and again some pressure on Lekha Shetty here. Doesn't want to give up another boundary. Width on offer is going to be an extra, and they'll run a bye as well. Leaking extras are the East. Again, it's very, very hot. Remember, they fielded second in their match early against the West, and now fielding once again. So back-to-back innings in the field. No real break in between. As this one's hit up into the air. It hasn't quite got all of it. Oh, would have been a terrific effort. Would have been a terrific catch. Again, put out the dive and would have been a sensational catch. Maybe the catch of the tournament had that been taken. Long off, had to move a long ways to her left. And take a look. It was sliced up into the air, moving to her left, diving. Just unable to hang on to it, but a really good effort that. And it'll close out the 18th over. It's 103 for 2. Well, the East, they're not going to be happy with what the Southwest has done. 103 for 2. As they bring back Aditi Chudasama. It's been arguably the best bowler of the day. 3 overs. Just giving up 7 runs, taking a wicket as well. And is going to need 1 here in hopes to slow things down. This one, again, just clipped into the leg side. And you see the ploy and the strategy that Coach Subhash was talking about. Because Chinmay's been out there for quite some time in the 99-degree heat, sun baking down. No need to throw your wicket away. Meha Sivakumar can hit the boundaries, and we've already seen her ability to do that, and she seems to be ready to tee off. And for Meha, there's a deep cover, a long off, long on, deep mid-wicket. This one hit through that cover area, stopped inside the circle just to be 1. This one hit up into the air. Keeper coming underneath it and makes the catch. Really a sensational catch that was. It was hit off the top edge of the bat. It was running backwards the whole way. Aparna Gurumurthy was looking straight up into the sky and able to collect it running backwards. It's never easy running back. Again, just taking another look at this. Look to go straight down, running backwards, adjusting, made the catch look ever so easy, kind of nonchalant. The way she did that one, Aditi Jasma will get wicket number 2. Chinmay Aruvaselvan. She missed out on her 50 by 6 runs, but it was an important innings. We talked about how you need one mainstay at the crease if you want to get your side over the line, and that's what Chinmay provided. She's able to sit there in the middle, score, facilitate, hit the boundaries when they needed to be hit. And the new batter is Anushka Belanuka, who will come into bat. And she'll be facing from Aditi Chudasma, who has been really exceptional, hard to score off of, and been taking wickets and consistent periods. Real consistent with her line and her lengths. We'll get off the mark there. And now the focus will shift to Meha Sivakumar, who again has shown the ability to hit the long ball. You have to imagine she's going to try to tee up for another one here. This one into the leg side. Going to be 1. So the final delivery will go to Anushka here. 106 already on the board. Make it 107. And again, we heard Coach talk about how he wanted his side to be anywhere from 110 to 120. It's almost a certainty that they'll be at that point as they go for a quick single. And they'll get it in the end. 19 overs are gone. It's 108 for 3. And will be the captain to bowl this final over. Melanie Henry will put the ball in her hands, and I like this move here from the skipper. She's someone who keeps the deliveries close to the stumps. It's very hard to put away. I haven't seen a lot of sixes and boundaries being hit off Melanie. So if she can hold some singles and dot balls, she'll be happy getting out of this over. Looking to angle it. It goes down the leg side. There's no fielder in that area. That one's going to run quite a long ways and is going to run all the way for 4, just straying. And a curious decision not to have a deep square leg, or at least a square leg inside the ring. If you plan to be bowling that straight for the one that drifts down, it does just that, and helped around the corner by Anushka. Find herself 4 runs there, and a valuable 4 to cross that 110 threshold. This is all bonus runs from here for the Southwest, they'll feel. Again, straying well too straight. A lot of work to be done by mid-wicket. They'll come back for 2, and they'll get home easily in the end. And it's just straying far too straight as Melanie Henry. That one didn't go away for 4, but she would have to consider herself lucky. this one closer to the off stump. It was a little bit shorter, but stayed low off the bounce. It'll find a 1 down the ground. And now we'll see Meha Sivakumar and how she elects to attack the captain here. Again, we've seen her hit a lusty blow down the ground. But that was when she was given width. I think she tries that on a similar ball on stumps. Could be the bails that go flying. Does go back down the ground. Will just be 1. Good work out in the deep. Again, been really sharp in the field. Have the East bid. Haven't conceded too many because of missed fields or overthrows. But a lot of runs on the board. The biggest chase we're going to have to see. This one is going to be wide. Big shout. Maybe off the pads. And given in the end, you can see Anushka saying it's come off my pad. But a decision has been given. She's got to walk off. Again, kind of an utter disbelief there. Is Anushka, but has to go off in the end. We'll take a second look at this. There definitely was a sound. Just what was it? Going nice and slow here. I'm curious what it was. It looked well away from everything, the ball. I'm curious to see if the noise might have been the bat coming off of the leg there, but given in the end for Melanie Henry. That's all you can say about that. And they'll enjoy having that wicket there. And the new batter is Nitya Jalamuri. Come in with bat in hand here for the last delivery. We'll go back down the ground. We'll find a single to close it out. They'll run back for 2. Throw coming to the bowler's end, and he's taking off the bails. And again, really not an important wicket in this context of the match, but it'll be a wicket nonetheless, and 117 on the board for Southwest. And it's a good innings from them. They will feel very comfortable with that innings, having that score on the board. The East have not been able to chase many totals down, haven't been able to score or get their scores into the hundreds. So to put 116 on the board, 117 on the board, that's a huge margin. And the East, they'll have their work cut out for them. They've been in the field for quite some time. We'll take a look at this final delivery. Again, just hit into the leg side. The call for 2 came in pretty late. A little bit of a hesitation and quick in the field. That throw comes in quick, and Melanie Henry always very quick in the field as well. Again, you can just see that little stutter there, a little hesitation. They were always going to have to go if they wanted to. But again, 117 on the board. 20 overs goes by for the Southwest, and again, they'll feel very comfortable with that. The East, they'll need 118 in their second innings. Don't go anywhere. We'll be bringing you that shortly. Welcome back to Musa Stadium for this 2023 U.S. Cricket Women's Nationals. Again, all the wonderful pictures you're seeing on your screen, presented by our broadcast partner, Smart Choice. And the East will have quite a challenge on their hands. They'll need 118 from their 20 overs to win this match. Again, we saw the East struggle to chase 106, only score 85 in their first inning, 84 in their first innings in the earlier match today. They have plenty of batting to do it, but can everyone click? Opening the bowling will be number 3, Kartiki Banja Chowdhury. She'll get things going, and then with bat in hand, it's Aparna Gurumurthy and Adya Rawat to open. A new opening pair once again for the East. No Disha Dhingra in it this time. And starts off well. That's Kartiki. And you can see the angle that she creates with the wrists, and you can see how much control she's able to give herself, because that's going to be the biggest thing with that angle, especially on this wicket. You can be operating around stumps, around off stump, and angling it in. It's always a challenge. Big shout straight away, probably going down leg. But you got to like that start here from Kartiki. You heard Coach Subhash already talk about it. Feels very good about the bowling that his team possesses, and they can get off to a good start. They can see themselves ahead of the line, but if you're the East, it's going to be about scoring. And again, it wasn't an onslaught of boundaries that got Southwest to 118. It's just avoiding balls like these. This one maybe staying a touch low, but Kartiki gets the first wicket in the first over. Again, we already talked about it. It's that angle coming back in to the right-hander, and you start close enough to stumps. You open up all three, and again, maybe just stayed a touch lower than Aparna Gurumurthy was expecting, but just unable to get it. And there you go, the first wicket, Southwest. Exactly the start they would have wanted. And for Kartiki Chowdhury, would have loved that as well. Got a dream start for the Southwest, getting those wickets early. And we'll bring out Disha Dhingra into the middle. She'll be in the one-down spot today in this match here. So we'll see what she's able to conjure up for her side. Again, they're going to need a big time innings from her, and she's someone who can deliver it. Full and straight again. This one pushed through the covers. Will just find one, but the first run's on the board for the East, and how desperately did they need that one, it felt. And Kartiki, not just a cricketer, plays basketball, volleyball, runs track as well. See another good ball, nearly a return catch, just hung a touch low. Would have been a spectacular catch. I'm not sure it quite carried. But it's a brilliant start here for Kartiki Banja Chowdhury. Who will just give up one run in her first over and has taken the first wicket of the innings. A good one. It's all ones on the board. After one, it's 1 for 1. We'll welcome you back here for the second over. The Southwest has gotten off to the dream start, taking a wicket, just giving up one run. The East will still need 117 from 19 overs as Yashadit Teki comes in with a ball in hand. Just 20 years of age, has already represented the national side. As this one is pushed into the offside, they'll find one. Already a deep cover fielder out, just because of the strength that Disha Dhingra has in that region. And with Dhingra off strike, that fielder's come inside the ring. And we'll get to see Hadia Rawat try to open her account now. Again, you've seen where Yashadit Teki's wanting to operate right outside that off stump and into the channel. You know, someone who is an all-rounder. Bats left-handed, so no wonder why she would like and is inspired by a Suresh Raina. This one a little bit fuller in the air, but it gets over the top of the infield. It's a good shot that from Hadia Rawat. Showed her ability to play over the top of the offside in the first match at the end of the first innings. And here we go, another boundary here for Rawat to open up her account. Take a look at this. Just touched too full from Yashadit Teki and just helped herself to Rawat over the offside. Find herself a boundary, and we'll need plenty more of those. 112 more runs required. This time again over the offside. How about this? Even better than the last. It's 4 more. He's played that one on the up. Incredible shot that is. Again, just take another look at this. This isn't a half volley she's found. To get that one and just pick it up over the top of extra cover. Brilliant stroke making here. It's already forced the fielders back. Long off. Deep cover in place. Change of angle from Yashadit Teki this time, seeing that the width was enjoyed by Rawat. Trying to start straighter again, very cerebral cricketer. Is Teki, someone who again has been a part of the national team setup and plays a lot of cricket on the West Coast. This one will be a wide, though, down the leg side. The angle in which he creates. Never mind, not deemed a wide. Interesting decision that from the umpire. Deemed a good ball. And that'll close out the second over. And at the end of 2, it's 10 for 1. Well, an interesting way to end that second over. I think most people would have expected it to be a wide to close, but wasn't given. That'll be Kartiki T. Chowdhury. Continuing, big shout probably down the leg again. But again, showing off her angle in which she creates. Again, let's have another look at this. Again, very impressive. Take a look angling all the way outside the off stump, and again, definitely going down that leg side, but it's a brilliant start here for Karthiki. This one on stumps. It's clipped into the leg side. No fielder at deep mid-wicket. It'll be a couple of runs out there for Disha Dhingra. You're going to need to find ways to continue to score. What the East has fallen victim of getting dot balls consistently and not being able to hit themselves out of it because it's hard to hit on this surface. As this one is hit through the covers, but just to that cover fielder. Speaking of Karthiki and her journey through cricket, someone who idolizes Shabnim Ismail, and something she won't know as of yet, but Ismail had a hat trick off the final 3 balls, which earned her Welsh Fire dramatic win against the Birmingham Phoenix. In the 100, just a couple of, maybe just an hour ago, as this one again is worked into the leg side. Should be at least a couple. Fielder long on, comes around and does well, keeps it to 2. And this is where the experience of Disha Dhingra comes in. Knows the ball is going to angle in. So he's just anticipating it and looking to take the balls into leg side, just clipping it off her hips. This time width on offer. Hit through the covers. Will just find one out to deep cover. It's good smart bowling from Karthiki. And Aditya Rawat, after a flurry of boundaries in the previous over, will have 1 ball to face. And we'll send it straight back to Karthiki. So, a good over there for the East, clawing their way back into this match as their quad run rate just climbs above 6. At the end of 3 overs, it's 15 for 1. Yashaditi Tiki will continue here for the Southwest into Disha Dhingra now. This one will be clipped away for no run there. Good work inside the ring. Yashaditi, another one of these bowlers who has that angle coming back into the right-hander. You saw it on that occasion, just getting to the legs of Disha Dhingra. And again, for the East, they found a much better start to this match. Yes, lost the wicket early, but finding shots like these to get runs and more consistent intervals. Again, their quad run rate's above 6 now, and if you can just find a couple of singles, you get to 4 or 5 runs every over. You keep yourself in check, keep the game in reach. The moment you start getting those 2 1-run overs that the East have collected like collector's items over the past 2 days, that's where you get in trouble. This one full and straight, clipped into the leg side. Really well played by Adil Rawat. They'll come back for a second. Again, a much more positive start here. Looking to score for both sides and a willingness to run. That was going to be a big question Again, having spent 2 consecutive innings in the field, how are the fitness levels and the exhaustion levels, especially in this 99-degree Fahrenheit heat with the humidity what it is, but he's still showing no signs of being affected. Again, coming around the wicket now is Jasdeep. Clearing the front foot, finds the inside edge of the bat, racing towards the boundary. It's well stopped. Good work out there to save 2 runs. I think by Karthiki. Again, it's efforts like that can win you matches. And with a big score, could easily let it go and said, that's all right. We can give up that 4. We have runs to spare, but showing a desire and an ability to be a run saver. You see, yesterday, he thought that one was going to be a wicket as well. The plan had worked for getting straight onto stumps and wanted the batter to clear. This time, it's clipped the leg stump. You can see Adi Rawat just try to clip it off her hip. Misses out on it, and instead, it crashes onto her leg stump pole. It falls over, and the second wicket falls for the East. So just as they were building some momentum, just as Adi Rawat was seeing herself in, misses on one, and the change of angle leads to a change of result. It's a wicket there for Yashaditi Teki, the second for the Southwest. Again, just take another look at this. Just looking to clip it off of her hips here as Rawat. And just missed out on it. Instead, that's what the change of angle was. It was just to be on stumps and create a different angle. Instead, expose that leg stump and gets it hit. Subdued celebration from the Southwest and Yashaditi Teki. Second wicket falls and breaks that partnership that was just starting to build there. As we see Shushti Hamula come into bat, a much higher position for her. And not only been recognized as USA Cricket by being invited to this Women's Nationals, but has been recognized by the Maryland General Assembly for her and her nonprofits, or excuse me, her foundation's work with citation. And her fight to reduce food waste in her community. And Yashaditi Teki will be recognized for a good over that has just stopped some momentum for the East. That'll end the 4th over. It's 20 for 2. Well, how about this? From Dishadingra, plays a dot ball to start things off and gets one through the infield for 4. Just was going to say how I thought Karthiki was doing a good job varying that length, bringing it back because of how well Dishadingra was driving the ball. Anything full. This time, though, gets too full and just firmly struck. Beats mid-on for 4. Again, shots like this is what's going to help the East stay in this match. Required run rate at 6 at the moment. Required run rate is. The current run rate for the East is just hovering under 6. So again, plenty of batting here for the East. It just hasn't clicked for them yet in this tournament and before tomorrow's playoff games. They're going to want to find rhythm with that batting order. Again, you can see third man, hands on the head. Because it was just nearly had to get through Disha there. Would have crashed on to the leg stump. And Dhingra has opened the batting in the previous 2 matches. Comes one down here. Started off much slower than this, so it's good to see her start to pick things up earlier on in her innings. This one full, and it's going to be wide. They're going to run one off the buys, too. Good proactive running. It's a direct hit. Umpire unmoved. It looked like Shrusti was well home. Again for the Southwest, they would have gone off to this start, and they would have been happy with this. They would have taken wickets early. Take a couple more and get that middle order out there. Plenty of batting for this East. You'd look at still to come, Aditi Chudasma, Mulaney Henry, Anika Wallerson. Just to name a few. A good delivery this from Karthiki. Keeping it in the channel. Saw the movement from the batter. Just keeping it away. Been impressed by the Southwest here. Again, their first match here on this Musa Stadium wicket. And again, for a lot of the girls who've played in Texas, maybe have played on this type of surface before. As this one full and straight into the leg side. A good strong shot there from Shruti Amul. They'll pick up a couple of runs there. And again, equally as impressive have the Southwest been the East. Seeing their adjustment now to the wicket and what they've done here in this third match. With the bat in hand, that's been the one weak spot you'd have to say. It's been impressive to see. The quick turnaround is this one. It's just evading the bat of Shruti Amul. That'll end the 5th over. It's 28 for 2. So to be 3 overs for each of the opening bowlers. Jashditi Teki. Looks like she'll continue into her 3rd over now. And after taking that wicket in the previous over, going to give her some confidence in the Southwest, rewarding that wicket. We've seen her start over the wicket, then move around. So we'll see if she makes that movement here. This one down the leg side. That one should find its way to the boundary rope. It will. It's easy pickings for this Dhingra. Was never going to miss out on that one. Really a half tracker on this wicket. Just got back down to the knee roll. If you take a look at this, tried to dig it in short, but on this wicket just was going to fall back down onto the knee roll and just helped around the corner. Now the first time we've seen a 4 in that direction. This Dhingra will find 4 more, and it's above 100 strike rate now. And again, her best innings already throughout the tournament, if you ask me. Looked much more confident every stroke. This one through the covers. Gonna find a couple, at least find one. Thought about a second for a moment. And it's good batting here from the East. They're well in this game here. The Southwest is not off the hook. Again, we've talked about the batting depth. Just hasn't clicked yet. It's clicking right now. Getting well ahead of the required run right now with the East. Just going to want to keep the game ahead of them. Not going to want to fall into a lull. I'm curious to see when the Southwest elect to use a spinner or a change in a bowler. This one is moved into the leg side, but straight to mid-wicket. No run on offer for Shushti there. And there it is. Again, we already mentioned it. Yashiditi Teki always working with the angles. Started over. Will now go around. Took the wicket from around the wicket. We'll see if she can get one around the legs again. This time pushed out wide. We saw Shushti Amula struggle with this. The one's outside the off stump on that length. Wasn't sure whether to go forward or back. Just felt like she was stuck on her crease, and we saw a couple of those in the previous over. This time closer to Stones. It's worked in the infield, but quickly over to that short cover fielder. Again, yesterday, Thiki, very experienced campaigner, understands her game, and that's why she's very confident in her ability to change the angle in which she's coming around a bowl. And execute those plans. He's doing so far. This one hits straight back down the ground. Will be one. Long off in place. And that'll do it for the power play. It's a good power play for the East. They're full happy about that. It's 34 for 2. Let me just take a look on your screen. If you're just joining us here in Musa Cricket Stadium, the target's 118. Disha Dingra, she's 17 from 14. Sushtri Amula, she's 3 off 8. Yashditi Teki has bowled 3 overs, given up 20 runs, and has the wicket. Of Adya Rawat. And we'll see what's in store here for the Southwest. How do they look to attack the rest? Looks like they're going to go with Nitya Jalamuri. As this one's just worked into the leg side. Beats mid-wicket inside the ring. They'll find one, and again, interesting to see that they've continued to go with pace. And we saw the East very willing to turn to spin early and often. And look to turn in that direction. Pace on here for the Southwest. This one cut away through the covers. Will be one out to sweeper. In the field. Had a deep cover and a long off. This one fuller and straighter. Beats the outside edge of Sushti Amula. And Nitya Jalamuri, we saw her play one delivery with the bat, and someone who started playing cricket because of her dad, and would have had memories of playing with him and picking up the game because of seeing him around it. And again, it feels like a very big family affair here at Nationals anyway. A lot of parents have made the journey over. A lot of families have made the journey over with their daughters, with the women in their lives, to come here and join for this Nationals. We see this one, I think, just get through everything. for a run there. Was there a bit of bat on it? We'll see what the umpire signals. Looks like it will be a bye. Just like it got through everybody that. But again, a real family affair in terms of the starting of the game for a lot of these cricketers, whether it's brothers, fathers. And that's really cool to see the game spreading through families and bringing families together. And again, to see the amount of families that have traveled out to celebrate the women in their homes who are playing cricket and looking to represent the country. It's truly encouraging and amazing to see. This one, Fuller, down the leg side. You can see the shouts, but definitely headed down leg, but not the over the East would have wanted after the conclusion of the power play. Just 4 runs coming from it. 7 overs gone. It's 38 for 2. And it'll be pace here in the 8th, this time in the form of Shreya Arora. We got to see her exploits with the bat in hand. Now we'll have the ball. Right-hand pace. This one cut through the covers. Has she found the gap? No, we'll find the fielder. A little bit of a fumble will allow them to come back for 2. A little bit of a shout there, but was well home. Sustri Amula. Shreya Arora coming from the Texas area. And again, one of these individuals who are just inspired by family. Her brother used to play, and she got inspired to pick the game up after watching him play. And I think her brother would be proud to say, my sister's playing at, say, cricket's women's nationals. You know, and a lot of these players aren't just cricketers. They have hobbies on and off the field. Shreya Arora. See this one, jag back in on Sustri Amula. Shreya Arora plays the viola. So again, musically gifted here, and plenty of that, I'm sure, in women's nationals. But speaking to someone who doesn't play an instrument, anytime I see that someone can play one, and it feels to be the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Maybe one of the more impressive things people can tell me is that they can play the viola. How about the throwing, though? That's also been very impressive here for the Southwest. That's about the 3rd or 4th direct hit I've seen in the innings already. It hasn't resulted in a run out yet, but you have to imagine for the batters, you've seen 3 or 4 of these from different positions on the ground, direct hits. It's got to make you wary of taking these quick singles and worry for your wicket. Just something to think about. Again, going on with impressive, this whole women's nationals has been incredibly impressive to see the talent, not just the ones who have been on the national side, but the ones coming up through the ranks. As this one is brilliantly struck through the covers, a lofted extra cover drive. Was in the air for a moment. Fielder inside the ring thought maybe she could have got a hand to it, but Disha Dhingra saw width and pounced on it. Take a look at this. It's a brilliant stroke for 4. Just a little bit of extra width in the air, well in control, gets it over that fielder. And into the gap. That was 4 runs all the way straight off the bat. And a much needed 4 here in the 8th over. Moved the score to 46. This one cut through that same area. This time behind square. I think she's found 4 more. Yes, she has. Disha Dhingra. This is why she's such a coveted player here in the setup. Just 16 years of age. Can play shots like this. Played one well in front of square this time. Gets it behind square. And it's 4. And a sigh from Shreya Arora to close the over. 8 over goes. The 50's on the board for the loss of 2 wickets. Well, for all those individuals, until the Southwest might run away with this thing, hold your horses here in Pearland, Texas, because the East are still very much alive in this match. 68 from 12 overs. That's what's required. As Srishti Ramula pulls one into the leg side. And it's another boundary. It's 4 more. And it's unraveling here for the Southwest at the moment. Nithya coming back in. Starts with a half tracker. And easily placed into the gap. That's an easy 4 runs there. And things are starting to heat up here for the East. And the Southwest did all the hard work with the bat, but the East is making batting look quite easy at the moment. Full and straight, and that's a good comeback ball. Needed that delivery to Nithya Jalamuri. Just something to hold the reins back down. This one pushed into the offside. Quick single taken. They're going to get it. And bring Disha Dhingra, who's looked so dangerous so far today in this innings. 30 from 20 deliveries. A couple of 4s to her name, especially in that last over. Showed the range of shots in which she possesses. Can attack through the offside and the leg side. Aerial or on the ground. Feels like a complete batter. 4 4s to her name already. This one will be a wide, and the Southwest have got to tighten things up here. The East are well ahead of the game at the moment. Here in this 9th over, if we look at the 9th over for Southwest, 44 for 1 already with 3 balls left to go. 56 for 2 are the East. So going to need some quiet overs with South. The Southwest won't get those quite yet. A single here. And again, this is a real intense change, it feels like, from the East. I think they've had that long conversation following that matchup against the West in which they lost about how they want to go about batting, the way they should be attacking the batting, and the Southwest did a really good job, I thought, of getting those singles going, and the East has followed that blueprint. Not called wide, that left alone from Amula. The last ball here, this 9th over, the East, they feel very confident about where they are. They're 61. They need 61 from 67. So they've made half the runs almost at this point. A good place to be. 1 delivery left here in the 9th. It's given a no ball. She'll have to re-bowl it, and it'll be a free hit for Disha Dhingra, who's already in a free-flowing state. Now gets an opportunity to free the arms. Again, didn't look like she needed a license to hit anyway today. But for Nitya Jalumudi, what kind of ball can she deliver here on the free hit? This one's hit straight back. It's in the air. Not just going to get to the boundary. It won't. But it'll just be one. And Dishadingra will hold on to strike. But they're on the second half of this chase now. Just 58 more runs required. At the end of 9, it's 60 for 2. The new bowler here for the Southwest will be Parita Singh. He's coming into bowl. 58 runs needed from 11 overs. It's a wicket game, and Dishadingra gets a hold of a full toss. It'll be a no ball as well. It's gone through the boundary for 4. It's 4 off another no ball, and they'll get another free hit for Dishadingra. Not the start Parita Singh would have wanted. Again, coming in a crucial stage. Would have wanted to tighten things down, but has not gotten off to a best start here. And Dishadingra, again, needs no invitation to hit down the ground. We'll see what she has in store for this one. Goes through the covers and well stopped inside the ring. I think might have just gotten a hand on it. Thought about a second, but they won't take it. We talk about Parita Singh and her exploits with the medium pace, and inspired heavily by Megan Schutt of Australia. Loves the bowling action that Megan possesses, and a rather smooth action there, and nearly a catch was that. It was in the air for a moment. Would have been a sensational one. Again, we've seen some near blinders. And a much needed one for the Southwest, as the game, at this point, if wickets aren't taken, will just start to slip away, with Dishadingra at 37 from 24. And a near chance there for a run out at the non-strikers, and I don't think that was the intent of that from Parita Singh. I think she had just missed the run-up, but had realized how far inside the crease Shruti Amula was. Try to take advantage of it. Kind of wicket is a desperate need now for the Southwest, and they're going to turn to Parita Singh to get it. This one again, full straight, clipped into the leg side. Good work there, mid-wicket. Just keeps it to 1. Parita Singh, someone who just started playing cricket in the neighborhood, in the street with her father, and from there was just inspired to progress and go forward, learn cricket. Again, very exciting to see just the talent we have on display here in this Women's Nationals, as this one just stays a fraction low on Amula. Much needed dot ball there for the Southwest. They're going to want to take a wicket. It's going to be the name of the game as the wind starts to pick up here at Musa Stadium. And just 50 runs required from 62 deliveries. It's not a tall task here, especially if these two bats are left in the middle to the very end. Can't see a scenario where these two are in the middle and the Southwest are going to be claimed victorious in this match. This one pushed into the leg side. Is going to beat the fielder inside the ring. They should come back for a second, and they will. It's good running this from the east. Dishadingra will make it home. And again, this is something that the East have been missing. It's just earlier in these other two matches, you're going to ask where the batting was. Why is this game so different? I don't think it has much to do with the bowling. Yes, I think maybe a couple of looser deliveries, but it's more so the intent. You felt how with the East running those twos, looking to push the ball into gaps rather than just pushing the ball straight down. This is one in the air for a moment. It stays away from any fielder. It'll be a single to close out the 10th over. And again, feels like the East are in cruise control at the end of 10 overs. It's 71 for 2. We'll have a short drinks break as we head back for the second half of this chase. The East, they need 47 from the final 10 overs. Back here in the 10th over. The East, they've done so well here in this third match. They'll need 47 more runs from the final 10 overs. And it will lead to a change of bowling here for the Southwest. And again, they're going to need to look for a change of bowling. As they've gone to Usma Iftihar, another very experienced campaigner. So just played for the national side, and they're going to need her off break here to get through this partnership of Dhingra and Namula. This one pushed into the offside. They'll fetch one. And this would be the matchup. And this will be the prize wicket here for Usma Iftihar. Dishadingra, 38 from 25. And for the 36-year-old from the Bay, this is the prize. Big shout, big shout. Umpire unmoved. No, given late, given late. We just talked about it. This was the prize wicket. This is the move. And this would give the Southwest life. took a while to give that decision. At the very end of that appeal, the finger was raised, and Disha Dhingra has played a good innings, 38 from 26, but will have to go. You'll just take a look at this again. Remember, we are on an angle, not completely straight. It looks like that would come off the back pad, perhaps. This angle will tell us which pad that one hit. If it's off that back pad, you have to imagine it's pretty close to middle and leg. Now, maybe it was the front pad, and saying just clipping that leg stump, perhaps. But in the end, given Disha Dhingra goes, and it's a big blow for the East. They were in cruise control, and it's because of what Disha Dhingra was able to do with the bat in her hands, but it'll bring out the captain, Melanie Henry. But this is exactly why Uzma Iftihar was brought on, to do just that, to take that wicket, to break this partnership, and give the Southwest some life. And the veteran has done just that. And another prize wicket would be the opposing captain, Melanie Henry. We've already seen the hefty blows that she can strike down the ground. If we can get her out early, you'll really put the East on the back foot. So when cut through the offside, they'll find one through the covers, and again the Southwest will be incredibly uplifted by that wicket of Disha Dhingra. Again, still plenty of batting to come, though, for this team, again featuring Aditi Chudasama. Anika Wallerson can still come in and hit the ball around too, so plenty of big hitters. A change of angle now for Uzma Iftihar. And a really good ball. A really good ball this. Again, why she's been a mainstay in the national team. Understanding the angles and changing it up, sliding it through and across the right-hander. You can see Amula just poking at it, and that's the reason for this angle change, seeing if there can be a slight edge to the keeper's hands. This one hit straight back down the ground. Quick single for the East as they try to keep themselves from falling into any rut. And that's going to be the key here. Wickets can tend to lead to a series of dot balls and have tended to lead to just that in this Women's Nationals. But if the East can avoid that, they're still in front of this game. 44 needed from 9 overs now. Make it 43 from 9 overs. So still very much in front. It's just going to be avoiding that rut of dot balls. But Uzma Iftihar brought on and done exactly what she was supposed to do. Get the wicket of Disha Dhingra at the end of 11 is 75 for 3. Well, the captain has brought herself on, seeing the opposing captain come into the middle. Snigdha Paul Just going to bring yourself on with the ball in hand. Didn't see your bat today, but 16-year-old who lives in Texas. Someone who's made a name for himself all over the world. Starts off well to Melanie Henry, and if we look at Snake the Paul, someone who's represented the U.S. national team and the under-19 team. Idolizes Elise Perry, one of her favorite cricketers, and she's also been a part of the Women's 60 as a member of the Barbados Royals Women. As this one's hit straight back. Phenomenal shot this from Melanie Henry. No chance for a Fanny fielder. It's going to be 4 runs as straight as you like. And again, that's the length I think Henry will be happy to hit with. A fuller length, letting her free her arms with just that touch of width. And once it comes off the bat of Melanie Henry, it feels like it's going to find the rope inevitably. This time, pulls the length back, and they'll run a quick single. And again, the key here for the Southwest is going to be the wickets. The Southwest has not won a game yet. And so they would want to get this win before we get into the playoffs tomorrow. Again, we'll have the first place matchup right here at Musa Stadium. And third and fourth will be at the Balkes Field, to the back of the wicketkeeper. This one full and straight to Amula. They'll come for one, and they'll get us well stopped. It's a good throw. Really good effort inside the circle, but it ends up being a single nonetheless. Again, the East, this is a run that you didn't really see them take in their first 2 matches, and this is the difference for them. Even if they don't come away with the win, which seems rather unlikely from the position they're in at the moment, they'd feel very good and confident about the innings they've just played. This Shadingra will feel very good. Not her highest score in this competition, but probably her best, most fluent innings, and something to take into tomorrow's match. This one hits straight back and finds Amula. Unable to get it out of the way of that one. You can see she's disappointed in herself for not being able to get it out of the way. She seems all right, which is good to see, but Melanie Henry looking to drag it from outside the off stump. This one dragged into the leg side, beats mid-wicket inside the ring. Will be an easy single. They'll come back for 2. There's a chance of a run out here. Throw doesn't come in cleanly and unable to be collected. So that's closer to stumps and collected cleanly. Could have been a different result, but it'll end up being 2 runs for the East. That'll close out the 12th over. It's 83 for 3. And Usma Iftihar will continue, and as she should, broke that initial partnership of Disha Dingra and Sustri Amula. Use of the feet, trying to work it into the covers, but just to that fielder in the offside circle. Again, it's going to be out the wickets if you're the Southwest. Got to keep taking them. Got to get through this batting order. Just 35 runs needed from 48 deliveries. Again, use of the feet, unable to be collected. There was Usma Iftihar, had her second wicket. Meha Sivakumar, who shined with the bat, unable to collect this one cleanly. Looked like she was in such a hurry to dislodge the bails. Unable to collect it. You can see just hits the bottom of her gloves. It's a huge miss there. How much will it cost? Half-hearted appeal for Musma, but again, that could have been another big moment. When you're down in a game like this, you can't afford to miss out on any moments. Every moment gets highlighted that much more, gets looked at that much more. See some of the wind coming back in, the crosswind that we've talked about that blows in either direction. Heavy gusts coming in and out here of Pearland, Texas. Flighted up again and again, unable to collect it. Meha Sivakumar, second time in the over. It looked like there's another opportunity there had she collected that one cleanly. You saw Sursi Amula use her feet. And Usma Iftihar currently spinning a web around the batter, but not getting her reward here, not getting the benefit of it. 2 balls to go. Still not a run in the over. Pushed down the ground. Melanie Henry wants a single. They'll get it in the end as well. Usma Iftihar will have 1 ball for the opposing captain. And we've seen her go around the wicket for Sustri Amula. And we've seen her come over for Melanie Henry. It looks like she is going to come around the wicket for Melanie Henry as well to close out this over. And I like this ploy as well, trying to push it across. Melanie Henry, who will try to go across. Maybe get a top edge. This one, though, cream through the covers. Fielder coming around. I think she's done well to keep it from being 4. Saves 2 runs there. And close out another good over for the East. 13 overs gone. Again, just 3 runs coming from it, but the East not losing a wicket. That's the big part of it. It's 86 for 3. And Snigdha Paul will continue here for the Southwest. Just pushing into the offside. No run on offer for Amula. Again, some of these tight overs can get the game back into a balance, but you would have to imagine the Southwest would need the wickets to win this game. And we've mentioned how a lot of these individuals here, not just cricketers, and Snigdha Paul, dual sport athlete, a varsity softball player for her high school here in Texas. This one's hit down the ground for 1, and a lot of translatable skills, with the throwing motions, with the power hitting. So good to see, again, all-rounded people here, and then phenomenal cricketers. Melanie Henry, she knows a thing or two about power hitting, and she has a cow corner area available. She finds a length she likes. Looking to go in that direction. Only found the fielder inside the ring. They'll get 1. Again, that's all that's required for the East. They don't need to find many boundaries. It's just about finding singles. 30 runs separate them from the finish line, from claiming their first win in this tournament. Big swing and a miss that for Sustriamula. But again, we've seen how valuable a mainstay at the crease is. Deshadingra held one end for a long time. Sustriamula holding this end for the other. That just takes a little bit of pressure off. Again, even if you aren't scoring in a fluent fashion, understanding the wicket enough to get those singles every other delivery. Just like that. Again, a pretty similar ball, but a different result that for the East. So again, both of these teams looking for their first win of the tournament. And again, the East, a lot of talks about their batting and how it had really been struggling coming into today. But they found some rhythm so far in this innings. As this one is tucked and chance of a run out here. Direct hit might have done it. Melanie Henry, I don't think was quite sure where the ball was. And you can see her say, that's on me there, but a chance again. Left ass to be begging. 14 overs gone. It's 89 for 3. Three on the trot for Iftihar. This one's pushed into the leg side. It's gone through the infield. Chase being given. It won't get all the way to the boundary, but they'll pick up a couple of runs there. That time just on the legs was Usma Iftihar, and that's where she's going to want to be avoiding. And we saw Sustriamula really struggle outside the off stump. Whether she was using her feet or staying in her crease. Just struggled to get to the pitch of the ball. From there was beating her on the outside edge of the bat. Just like that. Big shout. Big shout. You can see third man very animated by it. Looked like Meha Sivakumar wasn't as impressed by it. It wasn't sold on that being a wicket. Neither was the umpire, unmoved in her decision. But a better ball that from Iftihar. Use of the feet, pushed down the ground. And will find herself a single. Sustriamula. And again, we mentioned, won't say it's the most fluent of innings from Amula, but this is a very, very important one. Hanging on to one end of the wicket. Don't find a run on one ball. Able to adjust and find it on the next one. Understanding how the wicket's playing takes a lot of pressure off. Now Melanie Henry on strike. And again, I like the idea of pushing it across Henry. Short third could come in play with a top edge on a slog. Length pulled back and just worked into the offside. They'll pick up one. I think now if you're Usma Iftihar, when bowling to Melanie Henry, might just want to consider throwing one up, tossing one up. Daring Henry to go down the ground. Again, it's wickets. That's the name of the game. 25 more runs separates the East from the finish line. This one going to be a wide. Make it 24 more. And it's bowled really well here. Usman-Iftikhar came in, took the wicket of Disha Dhingra straight away. She would love one more wicket before her 4 overs are up. She's got an over after this, but you have to imagine it's going to come in the 17th. This one cleaned her up, got her man in the end. Remember, misstumping on Shrustri Amula in Uzma's previous over. This time, though, gets completely through and some subdued celebrations for the Southwest. They're just clawing their way back into this one. It's going to take a couple more wickets to make a real impact, but Usman-Iftikhar is showing her value in her experience and showing how good she is and how much she brings to this side. You take a look at this. Talked about how Amula just struggled using her feet. Tried to use her feet again. Played all around it. Takes off the leg pole, and Amula has to get back walking. Again, just the top of leg stump, they say. There'll be one delivery left here in the 15th. I'll be left to fend away for the East. We'll see who they send out to bat. Looks like it's going to be Aditi Chudasama, who will come out to bat. Hasn't had her best championship, her best tournament with the bat in hand. Has been doing most of her damage with the ball. But an opportunity to just single and double her team's way to the finish line. But first, we'll have to see off this final ball from Usman-Iftikhar. Not an easy task. And 2-2 here could really change something. And nearly a run out at the non-striker's end. Not sure if she pulled out of it or missed it altogether. Melanie Henry would have been well out. And pulling out all the stops here, the Southwest. This one just defended away by Aditi Chudasama. 15 overs gone. It's 94 for 4. Go Snigdhapal to continue. Starts off well there to Melanie Henry. And again, we were talking about how important it was to have one mainstay in the middle, and having Shrustri Amula there was a big benefit to the East because she was just navigating her innings well, but Usman-Iftikhar found a way to get through both set batters, and Disha Dhingra and Shrustri Amula. Now Melanie Henry is out there with Aditi Chudasama. And that's a big swipe straight back down the ground. Long off in place. We'll keep it to just one. And for Aditi Chudasama, hasn't been amongst the runs yet. Kind of the best batter in 2022 for these national championships, but has struggled so far here at Musa Stadium in 2023. Should be eyeing off against another youngster, as you mentioned, Snigdhapal, just 16 years of age. Aditi, 17. As this one's run down, smart batting. Chance of a run out. That probably is out. It's given. Melanie Henry has to go, and another twist. We've talked about it. The direct hits, they've been very impressive. I spoke about it earlier, how we've seen 3 or 4. Just watch out for one of those. Just looking to run it down. The call was quick and clear. You could see this. Take a look. Again, just ran down. Melanie Henry was off in a hurry. And just that direct hit, that was the difference. A good throw in there from short third. Again, take another look at this. Aditi Jadasama just looking to run it down. It looks like that might be Karthiki with about a stump and a half to aim at. Gets leg pull and well out. You see the excitement that she's got on her face. And again, now 2 brand new batters into the middle as Onika Wallerson makes her way out. In the East, who looked like they were going to cruise to a victory. There's another twist. The Southwest, they fought back. Usman Iftihar doing the damage with the ball, getting the 2 set batters out, and that run-outs. And we spoke about it earlier, how those direct hits, they were like 3 or 4 very early on, and it's just something to watch for. Well, how crucial is that one? Gets Melanie Henry on a direct hit run-out. And now the Southwest, you'd have to say, have the momentum. These still ahead of the game, you would say, with 23 runs needed from final 4.3 overs, 27 balls. But with 2 brand new bats, hard to get going early. Something to be said. Full and straight, outside edge. Is going to run. It's going to run. Unlucky. Unlucky for the Southwest. The East will take runs as they get them. It's all away for 4. Having short third inside the ring was to their benefit. Just a ball to go this time. Proves to be the downfall of that. 4 runs off the outside edge using the pace of Snigdha Paul. Getting slashed hard at it with the width on offer. That will take some life out of the Southwest. They felt they'd just gone back into it. That 4 just makes the task ever so more daunting. This time unable to get bat onto it as Onika Wallerson. Again, the key for these 2 is going to be staying in until the very end. Don't want to leave it to anyone else, you would feel. Plenty of experience amongst the 2 of these women in the middle. This one, another outside edge, running down through third man, very, very straight, and another 4. Again, a grace of luck here for the East, much to the dismay of everyone for the Southwest. But Onika Wallerson, scorecard won't say how she's brought him up, but she's got 2 4s to her name, and they've both come through third man, and that'll close out the 16th over. The 100 comes on the board. It's 103 for 5. Usman Iftihar's final over. And she would love to take one more wicket. She's gotten 2 already. It feels almost selfish for the Southwest to ask any more, but one more is what's going to be required with just 15 runs left to get here for the East. Aditi Chudasama will get 1 down the ground. Get Onika Wallerson. If you look at the scorecard, say she has 2 boundaries to her name, both of which were Outside edge is down to third man. Usman Iftihar, an experienced campaigner, going against one another in Onika Wallerson. Two national team players facing off, and again, Usman Iftihar has been so consistent outside that off stump. Been hard to put away when moving across the right-hander. The angle that she's creating. Again, can see this over out if the East wanted to and take advantage of the other younger bowlers. But Onika wants to go. Gets away. Just gets away from backward point. It was in the air for a moment. Onika Wallerson's kind of left stranded at the bowler's end. But how close was this? Was this a real opportunity? It looked like it might have been just left and maybe just short. But a conversation you're going to ask, a question you're going to have to ask. That could have been the moment there for the Southwest. Instead, it ends up being a run. This one in the air for a moment, but well timed, well put in the gap. It's this area of strength for Aditi Chudasama. She's brilliant through the covers. She'll find 4 more through that area and make the equation ever so more in their favor. Again, just able to step into its stride and just to the right of short cover. And will pick up 4. Again, you can't keep a good player down for too long. Chudasama, not a tournament with the bat she's going to want to remember. But a critical time here for her team. And we'll find one into the leg side to close out the 17th over. It's a good over there for the East. They close it out as 110 for 5. And so for the Southeast, as we head into this 18th over, it just almost feels out of place here now. Doesn't feel like there's a real opportunity here with just 8 runs required from 3 overs. They'll turn to Yashaditi Teki, who's taken a wicket, giving up 20 runs, and we'll need her to get her 3rd and maybe her 4th if they want any chance. We're in this match here, Musa Stadium. Gets an outside edge. How many times have we seen this in the previous couple of overs? Won't go all the way for 4. But we'll get that single, make it 7 more. The Southwest, I would have felt that they've put themselves in a great opportunity with what they did with the bat, scoring 117. Haven't seen that total chased. And then the East, their struggles with the bat coming into today's match. Getting those wickets early, they would have felt that they were well ahead. A big shout there from Yashaditi, not given, but as we were saying, the East, they just kept fighting. Deshadingra had a brilliant innings. Sushri Amula, so they would come in and support. And the East never really let it go. And as soon as you felt there was a little bit of momentum for the Southwest, the East, they wrangle it back in. Maybe a touch lucky with Onika Wallerson's 2 edges, but 4 runs is 4 runs. Yashaditi Teki tasked with the hard yards here of trying to keep the victory as late as possible. Has 2 dot balls here, and she can manage to take a wicket. It could just throw another wrinkle into this game. That's what's going to be the key for the Southwest, and you can sense that, and that's why Ishadithi's elected to go around the wicket now. Just to keep Onika Wallerson off balance. Full and straight, clipped off the legs. Fielder gives chase at square leg. Able to keep it to just 1 run. Bring Aditi Chudasama back on a strike, but just 6 to win now. So it should be an easy finish from here for the East. Done all the hard work, just had to finish it off. This one, though, away from Aditi Chudasama. You can see it just stayed maybe a touch lower than she was expecting. Expecting to climb. You saw a little bit more of a cross-batted attempt at that delivery there. This one on the legs. They're going to go for a quick single. Oh, a collection could have been interesting. Had Yashaditi Teki collected that one and been able to fire a throw to Meher Sivakumar behind the stumps, could have sent Onika Wallerson back to the dugout. But instead, it's just another single to end the 18th over. It's 113 for 5. Kartiki Dia Chowdhury into bowl, and a single straight away for Aditi Chudasama. So make it just 4 runs required, and the East just 4 runs from certain victory at this point. And again, it doesn't take away all the good things the Southwest did in today's match. As this one is crunched into the leg side. Gonna be one. And especially the way Kartiki Dia Chowdhury started. She was terrific in her first couple of overs, and she'll be beaming off confidence off this innings. And took a wicket in her very first over, and again would have given the Southwest a lot of hope and momentum going into the rest of the innings. As this one angling in and well driven by the Chudasama for 1. Just 2 more here for the East. Again, a brilliant fight back after all the questions about the bat. Disha Dhingra got things going, 38 from 26. Adya Rawat played some nice strokes, 2 fours, 12 off 11. Sustri Ramala was 24 from 40. And Onika Wallerson, her 2 fours. Kind of concluded the match there. And this one will be hit through the leg side. It's racing towards the boundary. It won't get there. They'll pick up just the 1. And so scores are level here. And just 1 stroke from Aditi Chudasama will finish it. The field all inside the ring. Just has to find a gap here in the East. They'll have their first win of these women's nationals. And there it'll be. The East, they'll claim to be victorious in today's match. Again, fought back well with the bat in hand, chasing 117. It's a tall ask. And having seen what had happened throughout the other matches, wouldn't have thought it would have gotten done. But the East, they were able to win by 5 wickets. Again, off the back of Disha Dingra's 38 from 26, Sustri Amalas 24 from 40, and then a couple brief cameos at the end. Melanie Henry 14 from 13, and Aditi Chudasama 10 from 11, and Honika Wallerson 12 from 10. With the ball in hand, Usma Iftihar, you have to look at what she did. 4 overs, 11 runs, and 2 wickets to her name. Also going to talk about Yashaditi Teki, 4 overs, 23 runs, a wicket. Kartiki Tia Chowdhury, just giving up 18 runs, took a wicket in her 3.4 overs. And feel very confident about that Southwest side and how good they are and how good they played today. Again, with the bat in hand for the Southwest, 44 for Chinmay Aruselvan. And then you talk about the 28 from 25 for Meha Sivakumar as well. With the ball for the East, they're going to look at Aditi Chudasama, 4 overs, 12 runs, 2 wickets. Laney Henry, 3 overs, 21 runs, and a wicket to her name. And Onika Wallerson taking that wicket in her 3 overs, giving up just 12 runs. So good bowling performances all throughout. Izzy Slade-Jones was good as well, 4 overs, 20 runs. Didn't take a wicket, but was able to start things off pretty well. In the East, they'll claim their first victory. And again, a brilliant match here, played by the East. And some brilliant striking, and we hope you enjoyed our coverage. All these pictures presented by our broadcast partner, Smart Choice. And again, we'll get the player of the match here just in a little bit of time. Again, some plenty performances to look at, some match-changing performances on both sides, and we'll see where they go. It was Giovanna Arras in the earlier match today. You can see the presentation just happening right there, calling the 2 sides together. And plenty of really good performances to speak of in the East. You have to talk about just the chase, having to chase down 118. Doing so with 7 deliveries to spare. Talk about how impressive that is. And we've seen some chasing being done here today, not just on ball keys. We saw 2 chases successfully completed, but now here at Musa Stadium, saw a chase successfully completed. Again, some brilliant cricket on display. We hope you enjoyed today's coverage, and when we talk about the coverage from tomorrow as well, you can join us at 10 a.m. Central Time for the finals. That'll be played here at Musa Stadium. You can also track the 3rd and 4th place match. The 3rd place match that'll be played on Ball Keys Field, that you can see just off in the distance by the side screen. And you can see the SMK Global Player of the Match presented to Disha Dingra by our very own Julie Abbott. And again, it's for her brilliant innings today. 38 from 26. Not her highest score in this tournament, but the most fluent she's looked and the most impactful innings, you'd have to say. We thank you all for joining us here at Musa Stadium, not just for this stream, but for the earlier stream today. We hope to see you back here tomorrow. I'll be joined by Brian Walters, so you won't miss any of that. For USA Cricket, for Smart Choice, I'm Om Patel, signing off for now. We hope to see you once again right here at Musa Stadium.